We got a big one on. Whoa, ho, ho, ho. All right, so today I'm just gonna run through how I lathe out my cork with my new lathe that I created. I made it out of some things that I've ordered. I ordered online and seems to work really well. So let's just get to it. right, that was just a quick rundown of how I lathe out my cork with just sandpaper and a homemade lathe. I do mark it. If you look at that, I mark it down the center so I know where it all lines up. So this is a 3-piece grip. I'll show you guys an example later in the video, or I'll try to do it in the beginning of the video. But this splits here and splits here. This is a fighting butt. This is the top of the grip. This is going to be a rod that turns from a fly rod to a spinning rod, so it unscrews right here, and I have to get it lined up perfectly when I put it all together, so that it's a seamless transition between all seams. Even when I flip it around the other way, it's got to be seamless as well, which is the reason that I measure as I sand it down. I measure these diameter of these to make sure that they're the same diameter, or very, very close. And I have taped it up. I protect the cork. The cork gets very dirty if you don't keep it covered. I found that's the best way to keep the design of the cork nice and visible. But yeah, this is what I do. This is how I do it. I'll show you how it looks in the end. What we have here is another example. This is the very first one I did with this lathe. This is the second one. Once I get all the tools, all the rest of the parts for the rods, I'm going to put 2 of these together. This is what the first one looks like. Turned out really nice. Second one looks just as nice, just as custom, just as personalized. So yeah. That's what I love doing. I love personalizing rods for people, making them unique and making them their own. It's just a fun thing to do. But here we go. Here's how they split apart. These come apart here. You can see the pieces right there that unscrew. This goes up inside the blank. It just twists out, and they screw together. This will go into the reel seat. Anyway, I'll show you more about that later. I have a rod that's completed, another one. Give you a quick look at it. All right, so I said I'd show you what these grips look like and what these handles look like. So this is what I've labeled my High Uinta rod. I've got a story on my channel where it came from, but I told you it comes apart, unscrews. Two places. Comes apart in the middle. Goes back together just like that. Now you have a fishing or a spinning rod. These actually cast really well, both as a fly rod and a spinning rod. It's a great product. I think it's a great product anyway. I really enjoy using them. I'm more of a fly fisherman than anything. That's what I really love doing, but every once in a while, got to throw a spinning rod or throw a lure, throw a spinner, whatever it may be. But yeah, that's what that grip's made for. It's made for a specific type of rod. I've sold quite a few of these so far, so let me know if you're interested. Let me know if you're interested in how I put together the lathe. The lathe is it's all handmade. I made it, put it together myself. I'll put some links to some of the where I purchased some of the pieces in the comments below, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.